Hey everyone, welcome back to The Oily Life. If you're new here, my name is Tanya, and today I'm going to take you along with me as we make a cold process soap. It's my Rosemary and Mint soap, and we're going to be using all natural colorants. We're going to be using French green clay and coconut milk powder. So let's go make the soap. Alright, so today we are making our Rosemary and Mint soap. This will be an all natural soap. We're just using natural colorants and essential oils, so it will fall into the all-natural category. Not that that necessarily matters, but I have been making more and more natural soaps as I've continued in my soap making journey. Just seems to be what I'm more attracted to, so that is what I like to make. So I'm going to add my lye water to my melted down oils here, and I always do add in sodium lactate just to help with hardening up the bar and getting it to release cleanly from the mold. And I'm just going to give that a little stir first. There we go there. Then we're going to just give this a quick blend. And I'm not going to blend it too much just because we are using clay and coconut milk powder as our colorants, so I'm going to have to blend it more regardless. And I don't want it to end up thickening up on me too much. Alright, so that's going to be good for now. I'm just going to get some of this poured off. And as far as how I'm coloring the soap, in our main bucket here, we're going to be using French green clay, and I just use some water to start to rehydrate this some. It still needs to be mixed in because, as you can see, it's pretty much soaked up all the water. But this will give it a pretty sagey green kind of color. And then into this container, we're going to be using our coconut milk powder. And I also just dispersed that in some distilled water. There we have that there. And as I said, this is a rosemary and mint soap. So in my container here, I have kaolin clay just to help anchor in the essential oils, along with rosemary, peppermint, and spearmint. There's just a little bit of spearmint in there. Spearmint has a really low usage rate, but it does give it a little like sweetness to the mint. So we're just going to get that poured in here. I'm just going to stir this in some before I blend it, get that clay down. I've been thinking about doing like an in the garden series, so this one, rosemary and mint, and then I've also been thinking about like doing a carrot soap, so using carrot juice to color it, along with maybe like tangerine essential oil or something like that. Orange and black pepper, I think that would be a good one. So we'll see, just some more options I've been considering that I think would be really nice for in the summer months. And that's kind of how we're looking here. We'll definitely have to blend it to get that clay worked in better. And the coconut milk powder will just lighten this one up a little bit. after it saponifies, you're really not going to see any sort of color difference right now, but it will lighten it some. So we're going to give our lightest color a blend first. Let me get that out of the way. And now we'll get our green blended. There, that green's starting to come up. And then I'm just gonna continue to stir this some just to make sure I got all of the clay incorporated. We don't want to have big chunks of clay in our soap batter. That is looking pretty good there. I think I might run a whisk through this. Yep, that's getting it. That's looking a lot better. So that is one of the things when you use clays in your soap. Sometimes it does take a little work to get them incorporated all the way. If you do end up with some flecks, I don't think that's really a big deal. I think that just adds to the natural charm of the soap. You just don't want like big hunks of unincorporated clay in there. All right, so I'm going to get my mold over here. And how we're going to put this in is we're going to just start with the green and pour a decent amount of that in. And we're going to do a little bit of our coconut milk just right down the middle there. And then we're just going to keep alternating till we get it all in the mold. And then I'm going to take just a chopstick and I'm going to lightly swirl that through the soap. Just like that. All right. So then next, I'm just gonna let this set up for a little bit and then we'll come back and do the top. So I had planned on texturing the top of this soap, but I've tried it a couple times and it's just not holding the texture very well yet. That can happen with when you use peppermint essential oil. It can kind of loosen up your soap batter so that it takes a really long time to set up. So instead, I just spritz the top with some isopropyl alcohol just to help with any ashing. Then we are going to take a peppermint tea and just kind of sprinkle that all over the top. Just for some texture. Just like that. That should be plenty there. And then I have these little, let's see if you can see that. Let me get some out in my hand. Jasmine flowers. And we're just gonna kind of sprinkle some of those on as well. No real rhyme or reason. Just a little random. And then we'll see if we think it needs anything else. I think I'm gonna stop with that. So I'm gonna let this set up for 24 hours and then we'll come back and cut. All right, so we are back to cut my rosemary and mint soap. Really happy with how it turned out. Love how light and kind of muted the colors are. That French green clay gives it kind of a sagey look, and the peppermint tea I put on top and the jasmine buds just add a little nice botanical touch to the top for some interest. So I am going to cut this on its side just because we'll get some dragging from those buds. And this did take a while to set up. That does tend to be the case when you use any sort of mint essential oil. It just slows everything down. So here is how we turned out. So those really nice, soft, muted colors. There is a little flecking from the green clay, but that's fine. I don't mind that at all. And the scent stayed really nice and strong, so that is good too. So I just finished listening to the Flesh and Fire audiobook series. There's a new one coming out, but it hasn't made it out yet. And I've been loving them. If you like any sort of like fantasy romance kind of books, then you'd really like this series. It does have some, let's say, steaminess to it, as well as there is quite a bit of like cussing and such. So if that is not your cup of tea, it may not be the series for you, but I've loved it. I really, audiobooks are kind of my thing. I love to read a good book, but it's always nice to be able to listen to them while I'm on my walks and stuff too. So if you kind of like similar books, if you have any suggestions on ones that you think might be good, I'd love to hear it. I've also read the Shadow and Bones series, or listened to, that's the Grisha ones. Those were really good. The Sarah J. Maas books are really good. I'm reading, like paperback reading, the Court of Thorn and Roses right now, and I've loved that one so far. So yeah, definitely if you have any good book suggestions, leave them in the comments for me. This soap, even though it's been a good 5 days since I made it, is still even now a little sticky. The coconut swirls did not come through very much, but there is, you can see there's a slight difference in color. So I'm still happy with it. I would have maybe liked a little more of that contrast of the batter I left more natural without the French green clay, but still happy with the bar. I've been trying to decide which one I'm going to make next. I'm thinking like an orange and black pepper, maybe colored with like carrot juice, because that'd be a fun natural colorant to play with. I haven't used that one before, but I think it could be fun. And that is something I want to do, is just play with more natural colorants, kind of experiment a little bit, see what colors you get. I still like my micas, but just something fun to play with. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed seeing me make today's soap. As I said, I do plan to make a few more natural soaps like this. I think I'm going to call it my From the Garden or In the Garden series. Not 100% sure about that yet, but that's kind of where my mind is going. So you'll see some more soaps like that in the coming weeks. I hope you take care, do something fun for yourself today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!